I love working with Ajiths. I understand Tamil, but I'm not very fluent in talking. I kept saying, sorry, sorry, sorry. He said, don't apologize. You know, if I was acting in Hindi, I would be terrible. I said, no, sir, you would not. You speak Hindi fluently. Women in general don't get credit. Of course, it is an unfair world. Of course, on paper, we have equal rights. And of course, on paper, you know, everybody wants equality and all that. But does it exist in actuality? Not really. I've cried watching that film, especially when it takes the last wicket. Like, it was such an emotional moment for me and for us as a family. See, I'm getting teary-eyed right now. Hi guys, it's Huma Qureshi and you're watching me on ETimes.
Hi, this is Amina Sheikh here, and with me today I have the gorgeous, the talented Huma Qureshi, welcoming her on ETimes. So first of all, Huma, Valimai has been making a lot of noise and it's been a very successful film down south. How does it feel?
Well, of course it feels very, very good, and thank you. You know, I think the film has got a lot of love. It's done some phenomenal numbers, and we're just very happy that now finally there will be like a world digital premiere, you know, on ZEE5 for it. So I think, I mean, the reach of the film will even expand even more.
What interested you to be a part of this movie?
Well, it is arguably India's biggest action blockbuster. So I love action movies. I like watching them. I like being a part of them. So for me, it was a great opportunity to sort of be part of this world where I was not just a mere participant, but I was also like taking the plot forward. I was adding something to it. So I think that was really important for me.
But at the same time, you know, as Huma, you said about, you know, how things have been for you. During this filming also, Ajith suffered a lot of injuries. In fact, you know, the doctors said that, you know, he could have gotten, you know, paralysis and all. So during these, you know, action scenes and all, you know, how you were you also a bit nervous while working on this project?
No, Ajith did manage to cut himself quite a few times, and he fell off the bike and all of that. So it didn't scare us, but yes, of course, like we were constantly like talking about how do we ensure the safety of everyone concerned, whether it's actors, whether it's stunt men, whether it's the entire team. And I think that for us as a unit was extremely important. Of course, sometimes, you know, mishaps happen and injuries happen, but they can happen anywhere. They can happen when you're just taking your car out and going for a drive. But we were at least ensuring that, you know, the greatest safety measures were taken while making this action film.
Also, how was your experience of working with him? Because this is the first time you're sharing.
I love working with Ajith. I think he's such an amazing, amazing superstar. But I think apart from his films and all the different diverse characters he's done, I think he's a really nice person. You know, he made me feel very at ease, especially acting in a language which is not my mother tongue. You know, Tamil can be, I mean, I understand Tamil, but I'm not very fluent in talking, but I have to really like mug up my lines and do it. But you know, so if you have a co-star who's not being very helpful, it can make the entire process very unnerving. But he was very sweet, he was very helpful. You know, I kept saying, sorry, sorry, sorry. He said, don't apologize. You know, if I was acting in Hindi, I would be terrible. I said, no, sir, you would not. You speak Hindi fluently. I don't speak Tamil that well. But he was just very, very sweet and very encouraging throughout the entire process.
The film also made 200 crores already at the box office. But at the same time, when it comes to Hindi audience, it's got quite mixed reactions. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it takes time. I think traditionally speaking, Tamil films haven't really done so well in the Hindi belt. But I think with Valimai, you know, we were hoping that it would break that barrier. But I feel like it's just a matter of time, you know, and I feel like today more and more films and people are opening up to the idea of the pan-India film, you know, with pan-India actors and with that kind of, you know, storytelling. So I think it's just a matter of time, to be honest. But we have to keep, like, I feel like a film like Valimai definitely cuts across all sorts of barriers, especially of region. And it talks to a whole lot of people.
The film also was compared to Tamil's Metro, following which a case was being filed. But however, the Madras High Court has, you know, lifted that ban for an OTT release. How does that make you feel? Because, you know, it's been through this controversy and then finally, you know, the film is releasing on OTT.
Well, I'm not the most qualified person to answer that question, but I mean, I'm just happy that the film is getting such a wide release because it's really meant to be seen by a much wider audience.
Huma, talking about you as an actress, you have done a lot of roles which are meaty, which, you know, talks volume about yourself. But at the same time, when you have to talk about, you know, pay disparity in Bollywood or in any industry for that matter, in Indian film industry, somewhere do you feel that, you know, women actresses don't get that credit?
I think women in general don't get credit. I mean, you know, you're a woman yourself, and I'm sure like you also face that glass ceiling as we speak, where your work, where because, you know, I mean, the entire world is a male domain. For sure, of course, it is an unfair world. Of course, we don't have, you know, of course, on paper we have equal rights, and of course, on paper, you know, everybody wants equality and all that. But does it exist in actuality? Not really. But then all of us, that's what we're doing, right? We're hustling, we're pushing, we're trying to make it a more fairer, more equal world. We are trying to, through our work, through how we conduct ourselves, through what we demand to sit at the table, and we demand to be treated equally. And I think it's a constant process. Will we ever achieve 100% pay parity? I don't think so. But is that the objective? Maybe not. The objective always is to keep questioning. You know, the objective is always to keep pushing the envelope and see what kind of world we reach at. And I think that is, and we're all part of that that revolution, that sea of change.
Also, at the same time, you know, it's 2022, but even now, women are subjected to necklines and hemlines, you know, and that is something even, you know, Samantha Prabhu has spoken about it, and, you know, there have been many actresses who have spoken about it. The way they dress is questioned a lot, you know, it's objectified a lot. What are your thoughts on that?
And my point is, I agree with you, and my point is, questioned by whom? Men should just mind their own business. They should stay out of women's clothing and out of their bodies and out of our minds. Like, really, I think only a woman should decide what she's comfortable with, and I think you know, men should just stop interfering. Really, I mean, if that's not, if you're not wearing the skirt, you don't have. I mean, your point of view is irrelevant, really.
Huma, talking about
and just to add to what I'm saying, and also I feel like what's a healthy change as well is that, you know, we have to stop dressing or thinking of women as commodities where we're dressing for the male gaze. I think today more and more actresses and women are just dressing for themselves because in order to feel more beautiful and in order to feel just empowered, and it's got nothing to do with the male gaze.
True, that is true actually. That is the change what we see. But at the same time, you know, Huma, as you speak about, you know, how things have been, you yourself, when you started your journey, you didn't, you know, do an audition for your movie. But you had done an audition for your ad. That is
Correct.
what I have, you know, heard about,
yes.
You know, for Amir Khan's thing. So how was that for you, that experience for you, if you have to recollect one memory, you know, and
Wow.
what made you do that audition?
I mean, to be honest, I did not audition for Gangs of Wasseypur, but I auditioned for the next 4 films after that. So it's a very strange way in which I guess sometimes casting happens. I auditioned for an ad. I did that ad with Mr. Amir Khan that Anurag Kashyap was directing. That's when and it was a 3-day ad, so he decided, you know, you're a good actor, I'm going to cast you. But then the films after that, till De Rishke, I actually auditioned for everything else. And to be honest, I'm very proud of it. Because I feel like I've earned that spot, as opposed to someone trying to create an opportunity for me or someone trying to create a film for me. I really went out there and I just walked into a room where nobody knew me. But my attitude always was, I'm going to walk in with you not knowing me, but when I walk out, you will know who I am.
Huma, when you feel low, who do you look up to?
God. I mean, there's nothing
Who
else.
inspires the most, you know, when you're actually...
As a human being?
Yeah.
I think I do a lot of like self-talk, journaling, therapy. And I feel like sometimes all the answers are inside us. We just have to like silence the mind and really like look inwards. I really do believe that. So I don't look up to another human being because I feel like it's like passing on responsibility on to another person for your actions. I like to take responsibility for my own actions. So when I'm really confused or conflicted, I try and go inwards.
What makes you so grounded even after giving such hits, you know, which has been a blockbuster and films which still till date people talk about?
And my brother will disagree. He doesn't think I'm grounded at all. Okay. But that's all brothers, I guess. I don't know, my middle class upbringing. I grew up in a very middle class home. My father is a kebab seller, my mother's a housewife. So I think I had no reasons to think that I was too cool for school. And I think that kind of continues. And honestly, like this industry is, it rewards you, but the process to get to that reward is so tiresome that, you know, when you get there, you don't really feel like, I don't feel like at least like blowing my own trumpet. I just feel like, I worked hard, so this is a result of that hard work.
And at the same time, what do you have to say about your brother's success in terms of the films he's, you know,
very proud of him. He's my baby brother, and you know, whenever I see him act, it makes me very, very emotional. I'm very protective about him. Like if somebody were to pick a fight with me, I'd be like, chal jaan de, bhul ja. But with him, if somebody picks something on, I get really affected. So I'll tell him, I'll really fight for him tooth and nail. And yes, of course, when he plays, any character, we feel very proud, especially a cricketer. So the thing with Saqib is that when we were growing up, he wanted to play for India. He wanted to be a cricketer, and he was a wicketkeeper batsman. And he used to go, I remember as a kid, he used to go practice every day for hours. So we always thought, one day he'll wear the India jersey and play for the country. But of course, life had other plans and that never happened. But he's a big cricket buff. So whenever he plays, cricket on screen, we get so emotional. Especially, in '83, it was such an emotional film for all of us. Like, I've cried watching that film, especially when he takes the last wicket. Like, it was such an emotional moment for me and for us as a family.
Before
I'm getting teary-eyed right now.
That's nice. Thank you so much, Huma, for your time. But before I let you go, what are your upcoming projects you're working on?
This is going to be quite a busy year, actually. There's Monica, Oh My Darling. There's, of course, Maharani Season 2. There's Double XL. Very, very excited about these films.
Double XL is your personal project,
yes.
And it's something produced by you. How excited are you for this one? Because it's something which is never seen.
I'm very excited, and I feel it's so important to make a film about body positivity, especially amongst young girls. And I'm very excited to be, part of it. And we'll talk more, but I think there's still time for the film to release. So we'll meet then.
Thank you so much, Huma, for your time.
Thank you.